Hey there, this is Priscilla, the Backyard Homesteader, and today we're going to go over a new series prepping for the spring and summer garden haul. Let's do this. Okay. Alrighty. Oh, look. So it looks like my husband may have gotten a gopher. He said to me last night or this morning, you see that yellow on there? Supposedly that means we got our gopher. We'll see. All right, let's come over here and sit down for just a minute, and then we're going to be going into the garden and getting prepped. Right, so here we are. I'm sitting at my little trusty table. My husband calls it my planting table or whatever. It's really an outdoor patio table that I don't have a an official table where I'm able to do my gardening. So yep, my table's always full of pots and soil and seeds and tools, you name it. So anyway, let's get started on this new series. Okay, this series is on getting your garden prepared for spring and summer. This is like the most exciting time of the year for me. If you're a gardener, whether you're brand new or seasoned, you have to admit having a beautiful garden, especially in the spring, is so awesome and so beautiful, and it gets me out in the warmth, and I water every day, and it just gives me such peace. So this series is really exciting for me. I want to share my journey on preparing my garden, and maybe you'll get a few tips here and there by watching me. Everybody has their own methods. Everybody lives in their own zones. There's planting zones. I'm in 9B, I believe. It's so funny where I live, like, I don't know, a block or two away from here. It's a different zone. It's so hilarious. But 9B is probably pretty darn accurate for sure. Okay, so if you haven't picked up my gardening journal, you might want to. I love putting things down on paper. I started doing that in the fall when I made my first planner, and it's really great because now I have all my notes from this fall season, which isn't quite over yet, fall, winter. As a matter of fact, what is the temperature right now? We had rain overnight. And let's just see what my handy dandy Google Pants says. Okay, so it's 47 right now here in Kingsburg, California. So, we just had, I don't know, a few days ago, we were in the low 30s. So, it's not time to plant for spring, but there's so much we need to do to get ready for that, right? So my very first step is assessing your garden beds and, or for me, containers. I grow almost exclusively in containers. I'm trying to think if there's anything I grow that isn't in a container. I don't think so. You just saw the gopher out there, the gopher hole where my husband's trying to catch a gopher. Yeah. You put any crops in the ground that the gopher likes and they're gone. They're toast. Actually, you know what? I do grow my sunflowers in the garden bed, but it's way too soon for that. I planted my last sunflowers, I don't know, maybe October, and yeah, they didn't do too well. And I knew they wouldn't, but I keep growing sunflowers until they just won't grow anymore. I actually have one in one of my flower beds over here right now. It's not doing so great, but I love sunflowers. Sunflowers and tomatoes are my favorite. And strawberries. Strawberries stay in my green stock, so I never have to worry too much about them. The thing with container gardening, as we'll go through this when we get to, the next series on, container gardening. Actually, I'll put a video right up here, a most recent one that I did, actually talking about container gardening, if that's what you're doing. What I would like to say is, just start growing something. Don't wait for the perfect, time, the perfect tools, having anything of perfection. You have to start, and you need to start now. Whatever that means for you. For me, I love starting my own seeds. Now, there are some plants that you direct sow, meaning you just put them straight into the dirt. But there are many that you need to start seedlings and start getting them hardy before it's time to put them in the ground. Especially, I don't know what it is, but lately we really don't have a fall or a spring. It's like it goes from summer to winter and vice versa, and it's gonna probably be about the same. We're already in February and we're still in the low 30s, so I suspect that we might have a small window of spring, but it'll be small. So I need to get anything that needs to have a cooler environment but not cold. I need to start now. So let's start this series out. Here's the first step: assessing your availability, garden beds or containers, whatever you're going to be growing in. We need to assess that now so we know what we can grow and what we need to plant, what seedlings we need to make, right? Okay, so in this book, the first thing, and now I'm going to tell you this year, this will be the last time I do a dated journal. I've decided that it's kind of limiting. It's a lot of work, and it's kind of limiting because once this season's over, then it's not any good anymore. So if you bought one and for whatever reason life happened and you weren't able to use it, well, then you were out that money. So this will be the last year I do a dated one, and I'll probably pop up another one here soon that isn't dated, just in case you want to get one that's undated, right? And then you just basically date it yourself. That's all. That's the only difference. So that's just the link to this YouTube channel. I think this is giving you a 2023 calendar. So of course in the dated one, you're not going to have a calendar like this. Yeah, you're not going to have one because I want to keep everything undated. So that one, and to be quite honest with you, for the garden, I don't think that's as important. I don't think so. I'll think about that. But here's where you start. You've got all this area for your garden notes. So anything that you're thinking of, keep this next to you. Keep it in your backpack, your satchel, whatever the heck. It's a full 8.5 by 11. It's not a small book. I mean, give me your thoughts. Do you think it should be smaller? I don't know. I like it bigger. I keep it, I just keep it, and I like to have it big enough so that I have room to, put all my notes in here. But this is where I'll start my ideas and start writing it down. On these notes, I will assess my containers, what I have. And then there's just another 2 sheets. So there's ample room, 4 sheets. And then here are plot plans, right? So here's where you can actually pencil out your garden, what you feel it's going to be, what you feel you're going to plant where. And then I guarantee you, by the time it comes to actually put the seedlings in the ground, this is going to change a little bit. It just is what it is. This gets you started, and then if you want, you can then put in a more accurate drawing, rendering, whatever you want to call it, on this side. And the reason why you would possibly want to do that is for next year's garden, right? We always got to be looking ahead, and every growing season you're going to learn something new. And so I want to make sure I don't forget anything. And it's so funny, at the time when you're experiencing something, you don't think you'll ever forget it, but you do. Especially if you're like me. I'm 61, guys. I just turned 61 in January, and I don't remember things as well as I used to. I mean, they eventually come to me, but whenever I'm needing to make a decision, I need to make sure I've got everything I need down on paper. When I sit down and we're going to sit down and we're going to take inventory in this particular episode of our containers and where we're at. And then I'm going to sit and I'm going to think, and then we're going to start thinking about, what we want to grow. And we're just going to start writing all that stuff down in here. And so if I have notes from the previous season, then I'm able to look back and say, oh, that's right, I didn't want to plant this variety this year. I'm going to try something different. This one didn't work out. Or I tried this one, but I didn't really like it. I mean, you're going to forget these things unless you write them down. Or perhaps if you're growing in containers, where they're at, you know that you want to grow them somewhere else. I found out exactly where I'm going to grow my peppers this year, and it's not a huge area, so I'll have to put some elsewhere, but I think I have an idea of where I'm going to try some of them next time. But see, these are all the notes that you write down, and then you can carry it on to the next season. So you get that each year you're learning more, you're getting better, you're mastering this, so that, and you've got all this data, right? You've got all this data. I mean, if you wanted to, you could even log in your temperature of the day, the highs of the day, the lows of the day yourself, so that you could take, I mean, you know, an almanac is supposed to give you something similar to that, but this is somewhere where you can write that information down that happened specifically for you in this season. Make sense? Okay. So moving along. So it's time. Let's go take a look at the garden and see and take inventory of what we have. All right, let's go. Okay, here we go. Let's go check out what we have. I'm going to start all the way down here because, well, that's where I start whenever I water. I just feel like, sorry, I've got you crooked there. I just feel like this is where I start, and then where we end. Oh, here's my beautiful flowers. I love them. They open up whenever the sun comes out. That's my carnations. And then these are just ready for something. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 5-gallon buckets, and then a small container. So in my notes here, right, I'm going to start with, let's see, let's do 5-gallon buckets. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll do this. I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. So then, you know, that's how I count them. And then small pot. Okay, 1. Now this, woo, this is my carnations. These, I've had these now for a couple of years. They haven't flowered yet. They're black carnations, and I just keep feeding them. And one day, I potted these for my Janelle, and one day she will have some black carnations her auntie made for her. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 large grow bags. Hopefully you can hear me. Large black grow bags. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we have 1, 2 5-gallon buckets. 1, 2. We have 1 small pot. 1, 2, 4, 5. Medium grow bags. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I don't know if you could hear me down there or not, but here's what we have. We have 5 large grow bags. We have 5 medium grow bags. I added 2 more 5-gallon buckets and 1 more small pot. Okay, so let's move over here. All right. So now in this corner, this pot right here, this is the artichoke. It is perennial, so I won't use this for anything else. So I don't count this. This one is not available, and it won't be available because it just continues to grow year after year. So this is not one that I count. Okay. This is a large grow bag in the corner. So we'll add 1 large grow bag. These are small, but these smaller containers here I use for flowers or herbs, usually basil and marigolds. But I'm still going to write them down. Small pots for herbs and flowers. So I'm still going to write them down. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I've got another 5-gallon bucket here. So we'll add 5-gallon bucket. So 1 large grow bag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh my gosh. Okay, I have to bring you over here and show you. Look guys, I have broccoli. Oh my gosh. You have no idea how exciting that is. Some more broccoli over here. Woohoo! Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Small grow bags over here. There's 1, 2, 3 small grow bags. So small grow bag. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We got another large one here. Another large one here. So that's 2 large grow bags. 1, 2. This is kale. It'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. More 5-gallon buckets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Small, small. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here. 5 small pots for herbs and flowers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Okay, so now I want to show you my actual, I have other larger containers that I grow things that need a little more room than 5-gallon buckets. Okay, let me show you. All right, here we go. So these pots right here, right? So these are larger. Obviously, these are a little more expensive, a little more pricey. These 3, I don't have anything planted in them right now. I've just been keeping them moist so that the soil's healthy, and then I'll add compost and some more potting soil to them. So I just wanted you to see those. So now I've got large containers, and so I will mark down large containers. And then, for instance, like these are large containers. I don't know, this guy, I had some starts. Can you see it there? Let me see. See right here? And then we've got this one. These were planted not too long ago. So different than, you saw I already had broccoli over there. Those were put in the ground when they were supposed to be. And then these others, I put them in because I figure it's not too late. We're gonna plant them. Hopefully we get a harvest. If not, that's okay. At least I got them in the ground. Okay, so let me finish inventory. Let's see. So I stopped here. So large container. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Now I've got mid-size. And check it out. So this is my mid-size here. It's not a 5-gallon bucket, but it's a mid-size container. That's a large container. Now here's the difference. This was just recently planted, and then this one was planted before. And look, I have more broccoli. Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. You have no idea. These were just recently planted. So we may or may not have fruit, but we'll see. Okay, so medium, 1, 2, 3 medium container. What did I say? 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now for the small ones, I stopped there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So small pots for herbs, flowers. Terracotta. I have one terracotta. All of these will be flowers, not growing any vegetables or anything, so I won't count those. You gotta check out my artichoke plant back here. So this is the difference between that artichoke plant on the back corner was just from this year. Look at this one. I have cut this back. If you watch me, you've seen that I have cut this back several times, and it's so happy. It is so stinking happy. And look, it covers up. Look, I have some broccoli growing down there. You see it? No, you can't see it. There it is. Yay! I can't believe it's actually growing with all the sun. Now, let's go ahead and set you down, and let's count these. Okay, so this is the small pots for herbs and flowers, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 5-gallon buckets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This, I don't know if you can see this, but this one right here, I don't know if we can grow again this year, but we're gonna give it a go. Okay, so I'm gonna go take you, I've got a few others, but here's the deal. These pots over here predominantly they have perennials, so I'm not gonna be changing. However, that being said, so let's see. I already counted these 5-gallon buckets right now. This is, whoops. This is bok choy. This is just, oh, this is a small grow bag, so I need to put that down on my list. This is garlic, and then 2 more. Garlic and garlic. They're doing fabulously, as I figured they would. This planter over here will just always have herbs. I did plant some rainbow chard. You see it there? There it is. It's not been growing very well, so I'm gonna fertilize it up. This has been a pest pressure bucket. I'm just gonna keep it that way. It's just gonna be something that will attract the bugs and hopefully keep them away from other things. Remember I told you I did have a sunflower, so see it's leaning all the way over, and there it is. Oh, it's trying. And then of course my green stalk with herbs on the top, and then strawberries. Oh, we do have 2 more small containers, so I'll get those down on my list. Now let's go chat again. Oops. Shall we? I do have a large container here. It actually has pink celery. You see that? Isn't that pretty? It's coming along just fine. Still has some starts on the ground. That's why this year I'm not growing as many seeds. But to be fair, this is strawberries. They were runners. I just want to keep them. They'll fill in some spots, the ones that don't make it through the winter. This green stalk has lettuce, which does rather well, but it won't be long before, once it gets hot, yeah, I'll put something else in here because the lettuce will bolt. This is my avocado tree. This I'm not counting because obviously this is a tree. This one over here, I don't know, a potato is growing. So if I need that one, I can. This one right here is peppers. I cut them back, but I probably will need to pot 2 new pepper plants in there. That will be pepperoncinis. That's another bucket, another bucket. My lavender, these just hold flowers, so we're good now. Okay, so now we've taken inventory. We know exactly what we have. All of those pots will, everything that I counted will either be used for a spring crop or a summer crop, right? So that's why I counted them, because I know what I have the ability for. So as you can see, here's all my little stick figures, and then I can come in here and say, okay, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 26. I have 27 5-gallon buckets available. And actually I may have a few more over here, but I try and keep some separate, a few, so that I have those, what I called in my last video, like I told you, it'll be up there at the end, limbo buckets, in case I get a good buy on something. I have 2 small pots. Let's see, I have, is that right? Did I miss one? I did. Okay, one more. So I have 10 large grow bags, the black ones. I have 5 medium grow bags. Small pots for herbs and flowers. I have 5, 10, 15, 20, 23. I just love to fill my garden with basil and marigolds because the bees love them and they're beautiful. So yeah. Small grow bags, there are 3 of those. So 3. Large containers, I have 5, 10, 14. 14 large containers. So large containers, I'm going to grow probably my tomatoes. Unless I have something like cabbage, right? Obviously, I'm not growing cabbage in the spring or summer. But if I have a crop similar to that, maybe watermelon or some sort of a melon, I may save a couple of those. It depends. I got to get down on paper what I'm growing this year, but now I know what I have available. And I tend to like to have, especially my cherry tomatoes, my indeterminate tomatoes, I need those larger containers for, because they need their room, they grow massive, and so that's what I put in those larger pots. Now, if I'm growing a determinate tomato, I can use a 5-gallon bucket, no problem. And those move around easy. Those large containers, I don't move them. I actually did like overhaul my garden and move things around last season, but I'm not going to be moving them, I don't think, this year. But like I said, things change once you start putting things in the ground and growing them, they might change. So, all right, so let's see, 14 large, 3 medium, and 1 terracotta. So I have, let's see, 4, 10, 2. Okay, so 29, 39, 43, 66, 69, 72, 82, 86. I have 86 containers. Isn't that crazy? I know. And if I need to, I'll be honest, what was it? I told my husband this morning or yesterday, there's something that I'm going to grow in a different, oh, my sweet potatoes. That's another video. I'll put the link down below. I am growing slips for sweet potatoes. And I have been growing potatoes and sweet potatoes in 5-gallon buckets, but I've decided I need to go a little larger. So you saw what that rectangular shaped, kind of like a tote, a storage tote. I had, let's see, my garlic and my shallots in, and my carnations. I'm gonna use that size and fill it full all the way to the top for my sweet potatoes and my potatoes, so that they have more room to grow, because I really feel like in the 5-gallon buckets, they're just too small. And in my research, most people have those big, like, I don't know, party buckets that you would put ice in, which is just too big in my opinion, but they grow their potatoes in those. So I'm going to try the rectangular. We'll see how it goes. If it's still not enough room, then I will have to look for a larger circumference in order to grow potatoes. But the problem with that is, you know, you don't get a ton of potatoes from each slip. So, you know, you would put 1, maybe 2 in one of those larger ones. I don't know. Let's just see how it goes. This is what I love about gardening. You just keep trying things until you perfect it for your garden, your climate, your area, and that's why you need notes. So you can keep learning and progressing. So, all right, this has gone long enough, but containers are number 1 in this series. Coming up, we're going to talk about seeds, taking inventory, plotting it out, putting where, what, and all that good stuff. Yeah, so keep watching. I'll have a playlist for you for this spring, summer, harvest, spring, summer planting season, spring, summer garden season. I'll have a playlist for you, so then you'll be able to come and you can binge watch it if you want, or watch it over again if you need to, fast forward, whatever. If you have any questions, guys, put it in the comments and pick up your garden planner today. Peace. Until next time. Bye now.